since my late 20s, I pretty much have avoided big companies unless it's for special projects or work, or employing my studio to do what I best do, which is being a pioneer and a creative. I have, in my 20s, I did get a job at Hiscox, which, alongside having absolutely stunning offices, they insure a lot of art. They buy probably art as well. In fact, they did. They had contemporary art all the way through the office. It's part of their brand to have amazing people and a lot of creatives, even though it's insurance. They insure satellite systems. Even from back then, they did that in the early 2000s, and that's where I worked on Y2K at Hiscox, actually. Of course, they would employ one of the only brown women in the whole of the city to work on Y2K. I was very public facing in that job. I used to do management reports. We did AS400, and I used to print off management reports for the insurance brokers, for instance, and senior management. They wanted to see brown women, and I was in my 20s as well. They wanted to profile brown women in technology in early 2000s. I was one of the only doing it. It was that part of their brand to be progressive. And then when I worked at Independent Insurance, they were one of the highest paying companies for technologists for AS400 as well. Again, there was quite a small company, probably had, a couple of thousand people. Everyone knew who I was, obviously, look at me, and or the way that I am. It was a good laugh. I went on supercar rally days there with them. I went on, we had, we used to play softball and all sorts. It was very much team orientated. We actually, as a team, I was put in to businessrisk.com, and it was a little bit fun and crazy at times. We had the option of we had to pay for it or put money. No, in fact, it was budgeted, and we had the option of either going to have a Christmas dinner in London somewhere, which probably would have cost a few £100 a head, of course, or go to Barcelona and go on the booze in Barcelona for the night. And that's what we did. We were working in Edenbridge, and we just took a flight to Barcelona, and because they had worked out it was the same price as going out in London for the night for the team, for having a Christmas dinner. Imagine, these are the teams I've been in. We dossed around in Barcelona, and we got didn't even stay in a hotel. Went there, partied all night, and got the plane back in the morning. I didn't even drink that much. Can you imagine how drunk some of the people were? And then I went and did a temp job at Royal Bank of Scotland. Literally a temp job. I'm just going to do, because usually I work really long hours, because you know what I'm like. And I just thought, I'm just going to doss around here. I'm going to do all my evening classes to do a portfolio, and I'm just going to doss around. And I was so much fun. I booked a meeting room and said, right, I'm going to show you my magic lessons, because I'm on a magic class. My evening class is magic. And I brought in some rope that I could put together and it would come apart and things like that. And my team members, it's the funniest thing they'd ever seen. They could not stop laughing. Every time I'd be like, right, I've got something to show you. But for RBS, they were like, wow, this girl is a technologist. She's obviously got her degree from biochemistry. She gets on with all the staff. She's doing all these classes as well, and coming in and telling everyone about improving themselves, yeah, they started to talk to me about management trainee stuff. I was in my 20s. I was obviously had so much technology experience in banking software as well. I know, and I still decided to do creative stuff, and I thought I never want to work for a big company, even though these big companies, they bent over backwards, not just to make me happy, but their team happy as well. And maybe that's just banking. Maybe that is just banking. They can afford to do that because it's obviously banking is, they print money, don't they? And insurance as well. It's a license to make money. I don't know why these tech companies have to scrabble around the whole time, trying to screw everyone over. That's not how it was in my experience in banking. They treated women with families really, really well. They do not, they were not like tech companies in any way, and I avoided tech companies. And I should probably go back into banking software because you get paid so much money. Basically, you do work hard when you need to, and when you don't, you doss about. And that's what I learned from working in the city and at Hiscox, where you need to work, you do your hours. When you don't, you doss about. That's what you do. That's how British culture is in at work. When you have to work, you work really, really hard, and everyone is motivated. And then when you don't have to work, you just doss about. And you usually have beautiful buildings. You have beautiful cafe. You have beautiful buildings. None of this. I never ever have. I've said this before. I don't work for big companies. In fact, Hiscox is not even a big company. They chose to stay super profitable and super small and super boutique. I work for potentially with my own company, with boutique companies like Hiscox, who are already known as super cool. Even in boring insurance, I work for the coolest company by far in insurance. I never, ever, ever have anything to do with big companies, ever. Oh, unless it's on a special project where I get treated like a princess and helicoptered everywhere, and the buildings are amazing. Oh, it's Hiscox. I never have to work for big companies, ever.